they'll be having their convention sometime this month. You, as PF, have continued promising Zambians that you'll also be going for a convention. When is yours coming, really? Are you waiting for the UPND and others to hold theirs, then you come through?
Let me first correct you that the UPND, they have set the tone. I think the PF, where the people had set the tone, we had started this democratization process as way back as 2018. And we have been very transparent in the way we have been handling this issue of intra-party elections. And Secretary General Davis Mwila has demonstrated leadership in the sense that we have conducted our election in the out of the 10 provinces. We are only remaining with 3, and that is Luapula, Northern Province, and here in Lusaka. And you know, we have been so religious when it comes to following these inter-party elections, and we have been announcing to the world. But to our colleagues whom we are comparing ourselves to, unfortunately, we only came to hear that there was an intra-party election which was happening, and they were calling for the ultimate convention, and that is on the 14th, on Valentine's Day this month. So basically for us, it has been a transparent process, and you are very much aware to the reason why we have put this intra-party election on hold, and that is because of the second wave of the COVID pandemic. So we are taking this serious, the disease very seriously, and for us, we are not taking chances because we are a ruling government. And you have seen there are times when we had gone out in the provinces, seeing the SG conducting election. People have been complaining, but you see the PF has continued conducting the election following under the new norm. But this is where we stand as at today. We are a party that is committed to the democratization process, and we depend on the same to help us to see the leadership that will carry on this party to the coming 5 years again. And you know, the most important thing which you must know, ours, it is a mercy to it will still come, because that's where we are going to present the manifesto, the party manifesto, and then also the presidential candidate, whom we know now at the moment as one Edgar Chagwarungu, who is the one whom has been favored. And despite that, having a candidate that has been favored by the Central Committee, we will still go ahead with the same.
But how true is it that this convention of the PF is delaying deliberately, because there are camps in the PF which wants to sponsor, presidential candidates at the convention, and this delay is meant to do away with certain people, certain elements that want to become presidents of the PF and subsequently a presidential candidate for Zambia. Is that the case in the party? Can you confirm that?
I'm hearing that for the first time, because we had such problems when we had people like Kalava, CK, and then also others who had such ambitions, people like is it the Fuve, the Lusaka lawyer, those who had such ambitions, and those were done prematurely, I think, as way back as 2018. So basically, as we stand today, we are a united force, and I think when it comes to those divisions, we do not have such thing like is it Luapula United? We do not have such Southern United, or is it the Kukola? We don't have such divisions now. We do not have the cartels now that we had previous. And this is the reason why our deputy national chairperson, Davis Chama, has come out to say that we even want outsiders, those who had left, to come, so that they can come and participate into this democratization process. So we are even extending that those who feel like they were left out, they can. That's why this is the reason why we have even gone further. But if we had the problem of saying that we are divided, we are going to have now this division would have been seen. You would have been seen even the invitations, the way it happened in 2015, 2016, We never had such invitation of saying, "Oh, those who left, can you come back? Guy Scott, can you come back?" No. But we have even that luxury today. That luxury of even inviting those vachimba kambwi kuti mwaisa, vakalava kuti mwaisa, even vawinta kavimba kuti mwaisa. So if you look at that position as we stand today, things have been ironed out, and we know that we don't have any problems in the party structures. We don't have any problem in the 7 provinces that we have held successfully these inter-party elections. We are only remaining with 3. So there isn't anything of saying, no, we are more divided or want to get rid of other people. No, we have never gotten rid of other people. And you know, I love the leadership of one Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. If you look at all these leaders that have been leaving the party from 2015 to where we stand today, you will never hear that it's Edgar Lungu who chased them. They have been going on their own. They have been leaving this party on their own. They have been residing on their own. Others through arrogance. So basically, it's not here and there that we are holding on to this election, inter-party election, because of strategies which we are talking about, which I'm getting to know for the first time here. And the thing which is there is that COVID is real. And, you know, a lot of our party members were affected even in this second wave. A lot of them. And not only that, we have seen that a lot of Zambian, unfortunately, we are now hitting almost 700 something in a number. So we wouldn't want those numbers to spiral or to get out of hand. So we have that huge challenge to demonstrate to the rest of the country and to the world that we are committed leadership, and we have to demonstrate that we are moving in tandem with the international guidelines. So basically, ours, it has nothing to do with fearing of any individuals. Even as we stand today, can we say that we have rivals like, let's say, the health minister is there, he has been fired, maybe whatever. Those that are independent from the party structure activities.
So are you telling the people that there is no one interested in the party presidency?
There is no one interested in the party president currently, because we know that.
Are you sure?
Very much sure, very much sure. That's why I sit on the information desk. And at the moment, we accrue more benefits as a party with the leadership of one Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. And secondly, in fact, vice versa, the nation stands to benefit more with the continuation of one Edgar Chagwa-Lungu as compared to if we were to bring in another person who will be new to everything, to be experimenting. So we are a committed people. The people of Zambia, the Republican Constitution, still favors one Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. So basically, for us,
could it be true that why there's no one aspiring for PF presidency today, as you put it, it's because those who had ambitions have been are no longer in the party?
No, the projects, you start from Southern Province there. Just as you cross over into Zambia from Botswana, they will tell you there's leadership. There is a bridge which is being constructed. And as you come into the Livingstone is no longer the same that we had in 2011 to where it is today. It is a city that, or a town that we are as Zambians, proud to even say that this is a tourist capital. As we proceed further, we come to Choma. It's now the provincial capital. Development has been taking place in Choma. We have had these big major projects, which even the member of parliament there, Jack Mwimbu, has not been seeing, but everybody has been seeing, like the milling plant there, the massive milling plant, and then also the infrastructure for the civil servants, the housing unit for our security wings, the roads that we have continued expanding on, and then also refurbishing. So you come, Monze, it's the same. You come to Mazabuka, it's the same. As you come to Kafiwe, it's the same. Kafiwe, it has new roads, it has been tarred, and it stands strategically to receive new investment in terms of expansion. So come to Chilanga. Employment has continued happening under Chilanga Cement. and then other interested parties. You get into Lusaka, just from Chilanga there, the dual carriageway, it will welcome you into the capital city. Because now today, the capital city that we had inherited, it was starting somewhere at Makeni here, Bonaventure. But today, the capital city, just start there as you approach Chilanga, police there. That's where it starts from. And that's where Lusaka district starts from. So the capital city starts greeting you from there. And as you get out of this greater city of Lusaka, being welcomed by that flyover bridge, as you get out, you find that there are dual carriageways as you get to Chibombo. So all this is happening under the leadership of one Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And he has never diverted from the vision of our gallantry leader, our late gallantry leader, one Michael Chilufya Sada. This is the reason why these people, they have no manifesto to talk about. According to our party manifesto, we are even doing 110%. So if you are a Patriot Fund party functionary, a Patriot Fund member, you must know that we are doing the party manifesto 100%. We have been following what our late gallantry leader left behind, and one Edgar Chagwa Lungu has never diverted from what we had preached in 2011.
Now,
so basically,
we have
that's our premise.
3 months to go before Parliament is dissolved, Mr. Mkondo.
Yes.
And the convention of the PF is yet to be conducted.
Yeah.
What will happen to anyone who will arise right now and say, I am interested to challenge President Lungu at a PF convention? Are you going to accept that person?
Look, the convention will be open. And, as we stand today, anyone can pop up. Even those who are just ordinary citizens, they have popped up before. We have had people who are in the ambassadorial ranks before. Overnight, we just find that others, and this could be some of the reason why even the president was saying the others, they have political ambitions. Those who are permanent secretaries, they would want also to join the bank wagon. So they are most welcome. They are most welcome. But what is important is that there will be qualifications there. People will be looking at the popularity of that individual, and then also the experience that they have amassed in terms of the presidency, in terms of MP, in terms of councillorship. So basically, it will be open to everyone, because at the end of the day, what is important is that with the Patriotic Front, the one who stands as the party president is the one who is going to be sponsored as the Republican president. But these other parties, I think they float anyone whom they want. But for us, the party presidency, it's the pinnacle. It's a pinnacle of our structure. So it starts from the ward chairman, the constituency chairman, it goes to the district chairman, the provincial chairman, 10 of them, and then eventually those who are members of the central committee. And the people who qualify in most cases, those who qualify to stand under our party constitution, they are those who are in the central committee. So if you are not a member of the central committee or a former member of central committee, you want to qualify.
Now, you are saying there is no one ready to challenge President Lungu. How about Yossi Miti, the young person who has shown interest? There is this young person who has shown interest in the presence of the PF.
You know, what is unfortunate is that under our information desk, I have not come across that name. I would want to have it, and as I leave this place, I will get that to know the same person. If he's a member of Central Committee, there's no problem, but we don't have such a member in the Central Committee.
But in the party, do you have a member like that?
No, we don't have such a senior member of the party by that name.
I'm not talking about a senior member or Central Committee member, but I'm talking about, do you have a member in the PF called Yossi Miti who wants to become president?
No, I don't know him. I don't know him, unfortunately.
You are dealing with information.
Yes.
Why shouldn't you have this information?
That's what you're talking about, popping up. But what is important is that we have rules and regulations. Just like in any church, I've always given an example of a church. If you are in the Catholic Church or the UCZ, if there is an election of or appointment of becoming a bishop, there are no more rules and regulations that they follow for you to become a bishop. It's not just here and there, you are a charismatic member or you are a pastor, you are what you qualify. No. There are rules and regulations. Even in the Patriotic Front, there are rules, there are qualifications. I've talked about the democratization process, which started in 2018 to where we stand now, almost 3 years. If this is same man of yours that you are talking about here, whether it's your
No, he's not a man of myself. He's a PF member.
Okay, he's a PF member.
Not the way you're putting it. Like this man of yours. No, it's your person in the party.
The same man, has he participated? Do you have any information that he has participated at the ward level, at the constituency level, at district level, at the provincial level? Or is he a member of Central Committee? If he does not qualify in those ranks, first there will be a college of voters. There will be a register. All those who go to appoint other people there in the at the convention there is a register. That's why we say there will be delegates, about 5,000 or 4,000 delegates. It's drawn from the structures. The ward chairman and the ward chair lady, they are given an opportunity to cast a vote. At the district level, about maybe 80 or 90 will be qualifying to go. So basically, that's how the structure is built out until we reach the central. The central committee? But if a person is not in those structures, how is he going to be a delegate? Because
that's your constitution.
Yes, that's our constitution.
Does it say anyone aspiring for any senior position should be in the structures? Does it say
yes, you must be in the structure. You must be a delegate. You must be affiliated with the party.
Even when one wants to become a member of parliament, it has to be in the structure.
No, on that one it is very open. Very open. We look at. I think we are open on that one. No. We also look at the capabilities of one having participated in the party. But in most cases, those who come on the 11th hour, they don't qualify. And this is the reason why that we have had a lot of people who have come in on the 11th hour with a lot of money trying to swear.
Now, why don't you advise them? Why don't you advise them that you have come in the 11th hour? There's somebody, Dr. Kafula Mwanga, who just defected from MMD to join the PF now, and is aspiring for Mandevu constituency. He's already campaigning. Are you telling us you haven't advised him that this is too late for you?
No.
Why don't you let him to go?
You know, democracy entails that we let everybody participate. And he could be bringing in another good ingredient that we are missing out as a Patriotic Front. And this is the reason why when it comes to parliamentary level, we have had people like in 2016 who are MMD. On the 11th hour, they joined the Patriotic Front. And we had a big block of those people who joined us. And now they are ministers. They have brought in their contribution to the party. So it's important first when you talk about inter-party election. One, the SG was talking about a very important issue, popularity. Immediately, you can even say, no, I've become a member. And when it comes to become a member of, member of parliament, you can aspire. Immediately you have just said, I've become a member of the PF and I have ambitions. I want to start. It's part of mobilizing of the party and also participating in the party politics. But it becomes very difficult for that MP, for that guy who is now aspiring for a public office to aspire for maybe provincial chairperson. It becomes extremely difficult to aspire for such a position. Because others who have been going through these stages of the party structure, they won't accommodate him. They will say that for you, maybe to qualify, maybe for you to become a provincial secretary, you need to have at least spent 3 years at the district or 2 years at the district. Such arrangement, you find that there are all these other provisions which are there in the party.
Right.
So basically, there must be a distinction between a public office, that of going into maybe the legislature as a under the council, and then also as MP. But for the executive position of the party, there is that thing which is tied together of the Republican position and then also the party president. You understand? MP, he comes as an MP, not as a ward chairman, not as a district chairman, not as a provincial chairman. But that one of the presidents, it is tricky because it comes with party responsibility also. There is a structure of the party. As you come in, as you aspire, like the way that guy is coming in, you can just come and take over the whole party program, the whole manifesto, just hijack it there. When there are other people who have gone through the rough and tumble of the party structure.
Now,
so when you are going to the conference, national convention, we are going not for parliamentary things, not for Republican things. We are going for party presidents.
Now, which names, Mr. Mkondo, are coming up for suggestions as running mates to President Edgar Lungu? I know everyone is interested. This is a ruling party which should lead by example. Any names that are coming up that you have heard?
Listen, I wouldn't want to even waste time to talk about that sensitive matter, especially that I sit on the information desk. So my advice is that that one, the running mate, it's a Republican constitution says it gives the party president or the incumbent one to appoint, not to be assisted. You can have all the names, but the party president who decide the person whom you run with.
But so that one, any idea of some people?
Anyway, I'm not in the head of the Republican president. I'm not in the head. I'm not. Charo Chimbi. You understand what I'm saying? Huh? So that's why I am. Especially that I sit on a very sensitive desk. So basically on that one, it's a prerogative of the party president.
This is the People's Debate. I'm talking to Chendela Erasmus Mkondo, who is Patriotic Front Information and Publicity Secretary. The numbers that should be getting in touch with us for your question or comment are 0950650916 as well as 0974760894. Now, yesterday, President Edgar Lungu terminated contracts of 7 permanent secretaries and made transfers with immediate effect. Among those fired, for lack of a better term, was Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary, Administration, Ms. Kakulubelwa Mulalelo. And this development has been received. It has settled well with one organization calling itself National Advocates for National Development and Democracy, through its executive director, Samuel Banda, who has commended President Edgar Lungu for listening to the calls from Zambians to fire her due to the financial irregularities, at the Ministry of Health. Did the president relieve her duties because of what happened at the Ministry of Health?
I think you remember very well when we had this problem of is it honeybee, and then the expiry of drugs, the recording of these is it the contraceptives. People were asking that the president should fire the permanent secretaries. He should not just end on firing our health minister. And I think I am concurring with that NGO, which is saying that it's welcome. Because at the end of the day, the president did not just use emotion to fire a person here and there, but this permanent secretary, she is the one who was sitting at the heart of administration. And you heard the way question were going, is it at the parliamentary committee? They were asking who approved this, who authorized this. And I think administrators, they are the people who have been mandated to carry out authority wherever you go in each ministry. And for us, what the president has done, it's a most welcome move, and I think that's the way to go. And this is not the only is it firing that you see. Even as we get closer to the election themselves, even in the same 3 months, a lot can still happen. So that at the end of the day, delivery, service delivery should continue to the people of Zambia, because an election does not say that Zambia has come to an end. So basically, I think he indicated on the other side, he said others has relieved them because they had the political ambitions. So for us, it's a welcome move, and I think we need also a new breather when it comes to these administrative problems of where saying we have we have heard, is it 30, more than 30 products that were on the market, they have been recorded. So basically, I think it gives us back that confidence, and then also it builds that confidence in the health ministry. So if the president did not take such drastic measures, I think it would have prolonged also the image building of the ministry. So we welcome it as a political party, as the ruling party. To us, what the president is doing, he has the right information, and the information that we have as individuals, as citizens, it's different from the information that the president himself enjoys up there. So it's a welcome move.
Right now, a number of people have lost confidence in the health sector, especially in the Ministry of Health, following the disclosures of honeybee scandal. I know, you talked of defective condoms and other medicines that were even, which have since been recalled. How can now this confidence be restored in the Ministry of Health? Because already the president has made a replacement. There's Mr. Emmanuel Ngulube. How do you expect this new permanent secretary to work with high levels of integrity, professionalism, and of course commitment, so that Zambians who have lost confidence in the ministry can have it restored?
Caesar, the Ministry of Health does not only talk about the distribution of these condoms. The Ministry of Health, literally, it is the one which is in charge of our well-being, our health. Today we have this COVID pandemic. Everybody is still running to the same institution, the same ministry through these hospitals. So there must be a distinction between the administration problems, and then also the operations of these hospitals. By having a defective condom, or somebody procuring a defective product like a condom, it does not mean that the doctor at UTH has failed, has become incompetent. He cannot operate a heart transplant. Those are still happening.
But is it not like when a child asks for bread, you as a father, you give them a snake?
No. It is not. It is, in this case, it is the same. We're talking just merely expiring of this product, or not meeting the minimum standard. Like in the case of the condom, they are not meeting the minimum standards. Meaning, you are still giving the bread, the same bread, but not the buttered bread or the right bread with the right ingredients. So we are still giving the same person, not a snake. We are still giving the same person.
No, but it's a damaged. So it's different. It's a damaged bread you are giving them.
No, it's not a damaged bread, but it does not meet the minimum standard.
Which is not good for them.
Yes, which is not good for them.
Who is to blame if that's the case then? Who should be blamed?
This is the reason why the president has kept on doing the reshuffle. This is the reason why it even started from the ministerial level, so that these problems, they are adequately
I want you to answer the question: Who is supposed to be blamed?
To blame?
Yes.
I've said it that on the political level, the president.
Who runs the affairs of state? Is it not government?
Yes, it is. In fact, it's the affairs of the state. They are they are run by civil servants. They are the engine of this government, and they are presided over by policymakers who are elected officials, and in this case, the president, the cabinet, and these same ministers. So basically, the onus falls on us as the policymakers, and for us is to give that confidence which you have
So
already
have
said.
you
As
accepted?
I've
Have you
said,
accepted the blame as the party in power?
who told you that we had refused? Who is in charge? It is us who are in charge at the Patriot Front, and we have taken proper measures to address this situation.
You have taken proper measures.
Yes.
Now, if you have taken proper measures and you have accepted the blame,
Mm.
why firing civil servants when you are the policymakers?
The civil servants are the one who are in fact doing the junk work. They are the one who are running the tendering processes. They are the one who are in charge of administering these same drugs. They are the one who are in fact distributing these drugs. But they cannot fire themselves. The person who has been mandated to do that, it is us, the politicians, so that we see that the wheels of the economy, the wheels of each ministry continue running. So that's how it operates. It's not that we are being segregative or we are being bad or whatever, but that's how governance operate in a democracy. So basically, that's what is required of us. We removed the one Dr. Chirufya. He's now a backbencher. And they have put Dr. Jonas now is the one who is in charge. And they have said, I'll work to make sure that the image of the ministry comes back
Now,
to
this one is being heard